There's Melanie. Melanie, was today the day that Susan will not be here this month and next month?
Are you asking me? I'm sorry.
Yes. I remember you had told me something like that.
As far as I know, she was not going to make this meeting. I'm not sure about next month.
Okay.
I can follow it up with her, but I know she was not going to make this meeting.
All right, you ready to go, Gavin?
Yeah, you're live on YouTube. I'm going to open the meeting up to let people come in, so give it a second.
Okay, thank you.
Can you share the agenda in the chat?
Did you not get one, Laura?
No.
And it's disappeared off of the site. Like, it doesn't come up anymore.
Can you email it to everyone, Jill, real quick? Just kind of just push that email again. Or to at least Laura and to Stephen.
No,
there it is. There it is. It's right there.
Okay.
That's in the chat.
Well, that's the link. Steven's saying it doesn't even work, right? But it's gone.
Right. I went directly to the site and there's nothing there.
Are you still
It was
using
there
like
when you first sent it earlier, but it was not today.
Yeah, this is a direct link.
So that one works?
Yes.
Okay. So before we get started, first of all, welcome everyone. Good evening. We've officially opened this meeting. It's 5:36, and at the outset, I am going to ask. We are missing. We do have a quorum, which is great, but we are missing a few members, and one of those members that we are missing is Susan Smith, our secretary. So I would like to ask, the remaining members here, which one of you? Yes, I see that. Which one of you would like? I already know Melanie cannot do it. She got the word from Susan that she wasn't going to go, so she will not be able to take the minutes at this time. So there's 4 of you left. Which of you would be so kind as to take some notes for today's meeting, and that way we can continue. So that would either be Laura, Matthew, Stephen, or Destiny.
I can take notes. That's fine.
Thank you so much, Destiny, for stepping up. Appreciate it. Do your best. I know it's your first meeting, and but do your best in taking notes on what's going on. So,
Destiny, just real quick. Destiny, by the way, if you need a recording of this, I am making a recording in the cloud, so you can email me, and I'll be happy to share you that link. That would help you with the notes.
Destiny, do you have the PDF that I sent you with the roster, the current roster, in your email? Because that's what you will use to take roll right now.
Yes. Okay. So Matthew Woodward.
Here.
Laura Gramas.
Here.
Lucio Alvia. Stephen Bradley.
Here.
Susan Smith.
Our secretary is absent.
Oh. Melanie Ruvalcaba.
Here.
I am present. Destiny Rodriguez and Phil Arbro.
Present. Okay, so did any, Jill, I didn't find a link to the minutes. Did anyone receive the minutes from Susan? Do we all have them?
There wasn't, they weren't attached, but if you clicked on the link that said minutes, it took you to where the minutes were. So I know I got a copy of them.
Did anyone else get a copy? Because I didn't see.
Yeah, I got a copy of them too. But
So-
like I said, it disappeared off that site later on. So luckily I had downloaded them.
So when you click on the agenda, when you click each agenda item is like a box. And if you click on the box, it'll drop down different, if there's attachments, staff reports, this is for all agendas, if it's council, BPAC. And so anything that's attached will be in that drop down.
Did the members who are here, the current members that are here, get a chance to view the minutes for last meeting?
I did. I
Okay.
reviewed them.
Well, so what we're going to do now is I need a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve previous meeting minutes.
I'll
That's,
second.
Second by Melanie. First by Steven. Anyone not in favor of approving the minutes from last month? Okay, so it looks like the meeting or the minutes have passed for last month. So thank you so much. We're going to go now to the approval of our agenda at this time. Our current agenda. Everyone has a copy of the agenda, I hope, I'm assuming. Any questions, comments? Does anybody want to make any changes to the agenda right now? Any questions or comments regarding what we have to discuss today? Scott, the only thing I didn't see on here, Scott, I thought we were going to talk about the orientation thing for the Department of Public Works.
Yeah, that I don't think that made the agenda. I'd forgotten about it.
Can we add that somewhere onto staff reports? Are you ready to talk about it at all?
I think we can muddle through it. I didn't have anything prepared.
Okay.
But I think we understand what the gist of it is.
Okay. Well, let's add it to the staff reports for Scott. We'll call it like Department of Public Works. What did we say? Orientation? Is that what we were going to do, Scott?
Yeah, I think so.
Orientation dates, times, orientation, just kind of like that. We'll give Scott a few minutes to discuss it or to let us know, and then we'll talk. We'll discuss it ourselves. So that's good. Any other corrections or comments or anything else on the agenda? Okay, I need a motion to approve the agenda with the changes of adding Scott's Department of Public Works orientation.
Motion to approve.
Who was the motion? Was Laura? I heard Laura, so I'm going to say Laura was the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Matthew. Anyone not in favor? Okay, the agenda passed, so we're good there. We got our minutes down. We got our agenda down. It's amazing what we can't do without Susan. That's all right though. We're good. And now we have some unscheduled communication, which is scheduled into our agenda, of course. So it'll be 3 minutes for anyone in the public to comment on anything that is not on the agenda at this time. Do we have any participants, attendees in the public who would like to use their 3 minutes to talk about what's not on the agenda? I guess you can just raise your hand and we'll call on you if you have 3 minutes. Cool. I don't see anyone. We'll have some other options to get the public involved here too on some of our items that we have going down. So, all right, we're going to move on to the fun part. And I wish we could all be together to actually do this in person. Given the circumstances, obviously we wanted to be super careful, but as everyone knows here, last month we approved the inaugural Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee Awards, the BPAC Awards. and we voted to give the inaugural awards to two members of the community who have been a part of this committee for a long time, and have done a lot of good work in the realm of of bicycle safety and pedestrian safety. So at this time, we would like to give our presentation. I wanted to show everybody what we were able to come with, and I want to thank Melanie for her donation of the awards. And as we all know, going forward, we'll be requesting that going forward, and hopefully this is the first of many awards that we'll give out every year. Next year it'll be a better process. Obviously, we're gonna open it up to the council. We'll open it up to the community to award our next recipients. But given that it is Bike Month, and we wanted to get it out, we wanted to get them both out this month, and we want to do the same thing next year. Every May, give out our bicycle and pedestrian safety awards. So with that, and in no further, without further ado, and with no particular order, we're going to start with our bicycle safety award, the Nick Palladino Bicycle Safety Award, awarded to Nick Palladino. So I was going to share my screen now because I don't think Laura has it. And Nick, as wonderful as he is, he doesn't have access to a webcam. So I went and delivered the award to him, and I was able to take a picture with him, and then you can see the award as well. So, oh, Jill has it. Jill has it. There it is. That's what the awards look like. A great job, Melanie. She, in a sense, designed this thing with help from the shop as well. But I like the bicycle figures on the bottom. And so this is our 2021 Bicycle Safety Award, the inaugural Nick Palladino Bicycle Safety Award, presented to Nick Palladino. And if you don't know Nick has been an activist and advocate for bicycle and pedestrian safety here, or bicycle safety in the community, Fresno. Longtime member and I guess attendee of our meetings here. And there's my picture with him, presenting it to him this morning when I went to his house and presented him the award. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and have Nick say a few things about the award, the work that he's done, and without further ado, can we open it up to Nick Palladino on the line so that he can speak a few words? Is that possible,
Okay,
Kevin?
can you hear me now?
I got you, Nick. It's good to hear you. It was good to see you today, and congratulations and thank you for all the work that you've done for the city of Fresno in terms of bicycle safety. And for BPAC for the many years that you've been a part of this. And I can't think of another figure that this award should be named after going forward.
Yeah, well, I like to thank the BPAC members for giving me the award. I've been involved in bicycle advocacy, and now, of course, it's become active transportation advocacy past 2 or 3 years. Got involved, it's been doing it for over 20 years. And I was one of the founding members, original members under BPAC. I think it's served under BPAC for at least 15 years, and was chairman for probably too many years before I handed it off to Tony Medina. And I still find myself involved. This afternoon, I attended 2 Zoom meetings representing active transportation interests. I won't bore the BPAC as to what those meetings are all about, but I'm glad to see other people getting involved. I just words of advice to people getting involved in either a pedestrian advocacy or bicycle advocacy. The secret of success is patience and perseverance, and try your best not to make any enemies. But the patience and perseverance is the key word. And again, I'm happy to see younger people getting involved. just remember, always be open to listen to other people's opinions and perspectives. You'd be surprised at different perspectives you hear out there, and be wanting to learn a lot, because there's an awful lot to be learned in the world of transportation. So thank you much, and that's all I had to say.
Thank you so much, Nick, for your work and for your words there of patience and perseverance. I know it's difficult in the work that we try to do. We're all so passionate about active transportation and making it better in the city of Fresno. But I think, patience and perseverance, we will get to where we need to be. Do we have any members that would like to say anything regarding this award or the work that Nick has done? Feel free to unmute yourself and say a few words.
Just congratulations, Nick, and thank you.
I think Steven's trying to, but he can't find the unmute button. It's not working. There he is.
Okay. Thank you, Nick, very much for your perseverance and everything. I had heard your name in circles years and years ago before I was even really involved in all this stuff. So I know for sure that you've been just totally dedicated to safety here in Fresno. So thank you very much.
And staff, feel free to also chime in if you'd like before we move on to the next award.
Hey, Phil, I would add that, when I started cycling 10 years ago, I became a member of Fresno Cycling Club, and I remember the monthly newsletters that they would publish and mail out always talked about Nick and his presentations at the board meetings regarding advocacy with the city of Fresno and safety work that he was doing. And I really, at that time, I didn't work at the city. I had no idea the complexity and the magnitude of the effort that he put into that work that I've since seen, since coming to the city. So it's really been wonderful to have him with his ability to leverage his cycling knowledge, and he tracks budgets and he keeps people on their toes, and he does it fairly and balanced, and he's just really been a tremendous asset to the cycling community and to public works, frankly. So I'd like to thank him personally for the work he's done.
Yeah, and I think I'd echo everything that Scott said, and I don't know if you guys really realize how much work he puts in behind the scenes. These committees he's talking about today, I was on some of them, and those calls were 2 hours long. He's volunteering on grant committees to review grant applications. These grants are hundreds of pages long, and they're he could have 20, 30 grants at any one time to review. He's really stepped up over the years and really put the work behind what he believes in and trying to make the community better. So thank you.
Thank you, Nick, for the work, the service, and for your commitment to the cycling community, and just the detail on how up to date that Nick is on everything, including just everything. Like Jill says, this morning when I got to his house, he told me before the mayor's office told me that my appointment was on the agenda for tomorrow. I had no idea until he told me this morning. That's how attended to detail that he is. I finally got something I got something today from the mayor's office saying that my reappointment was on the agenda. But Nick knew already before I even knew, before the office even reached out to me. So that's the kind of detail that Nick gets into. So we appreciate it, Nick. Thank you so much. Obviously, very well earned. And I think going forward, we're going to have to find those in the cycling community doing the kind of work that you are. So they can live up to the award in your name. It's going to be tough shoes to fill, but I'm sure there's somebody out there just as dedicated as you are. So I appreciate it. Anyone else have any other words before we move on to the next award? Well, the next award is our Pedestrian Safety Award. And it was the reason, this award and the gentleman who'll be receiving it today and his son was really the reason, my inspiration, I should say, for bringing this up in the first place in creating these awards. I've known, Joe Martinez for a couple of years now. He started he was here already when I started coming to BPAC and then being a member of BPAC. And, I saw the hard work and dedication that he had to that. And I didn't realize why until I saw, I heard his story about him and his son and losing his son to a pedestrian accident. And obviously that threw him into action in terms of what he's advocating for these days. And these days, Joe is the current board president at CalWalks. He's also an active member of Families for Safe Streets San Francisco chapter, and he recently participated in an op-ed article with the National Safety Council Zero Traffic Deaths campaign and Vision Zero strategies with Walk San Francisco. Obviously, he's been involved in the past with BPAC and as the former city council assistant for council member Soria. So I thought that the most fitting thing to do would not only be to present a pedestrian safety award to our very own Joe Martinez, but to name it after his son, Paul A. Martinez, who was tragically killed in a pedestrian accident some years ago. And I think he's actually, this is great timing for this award because I believe that time is coming up soon, and Joe can talk more about that. So this is the award that we presented to Joe. I delivered it to his house yesterday. Again, I wish we could all be together. Again, great job, Melanie, and some of these characteristics that were put on the award. And then I think the next one is a picture of just me awarding and giving the award to Joe. I think Jill or whoever's controlling it will show that in just a second. So without further ado, I'd like to congratulate and introduce Joe Martinez and present him with the Paul A. Martinez Pedestrian Safety Award. Joe, are you there?
I am here, Phil. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Great. Well, yeah, thanks again, Phil, and the City of Fresno BPAC members. I can tell you right now, I'm just overwhelmed with emotion, as you can imagine. Any parent grieving the loss of a child, because it's so unnatural for something like this to happen, and then to have to grieve pretty much the rest of your life, knowing that your child is gone. And so as a bereaved parent, I was looking for a voice. I was looking for a way to make sure that no family, that no parent should ever feel my pain, knowing that they have lost their child, and that no parent should have to go through that experience in order to have safe streets in their community. And really, that's what this is all about, Phil and BPAC, and you guys know that, is that BPAC committee allowed me to have a voice and gave me a platform to bring awareness to the issues around safety, the issues around the way that we design our streets, the issues around equity, the issues around being able to have accessibility to infrastructure, whether if I'm walking, riding, strolling, or whatever use of the road that I'm trying to use, that it should be fair and accessible to anyone, regardless of where they live in their community. And so the BPAC committee gave me that opportunity as a parent to be able to do that. So I'm so thankful for the opportunities that the committee gave me, and I'm thankful for the council member Soria for appointing me to the committee so that I had a way to give back to my community as an advocate. So by becoming a parent advocate, I was able to learn the ins and outs of what it means to have active transportation in your community, and at the same time, with the focus being on safety, because what good is it to build this infrastructure and bike lanes and all this other infrastructure if people didn't feel safe? So I made sure that as a member, and also that our other members understood that, and that we went out and we promoted that with our city council members. We did it through campaign messages. We did it through the media. We did it through all kinds of new and innovative ways. So again, I'm so thankful for that opportunity. Phil, from there, after serving my 4-year term, I thought I was done, but that wasn't the case. I became a member of CalWalks, which is the largest state advocacy organization on behalf of pedestrian safety, as well as active transportation. And so for 4 years, I was very active on the state level, promoting, again, the whole safety message, as well as pedestrian safety. Over the last few months, I became the board president of CalWalks, and now I'm very much engaged and active on the state level with the directors of our organization, as well as all the other organizations represented across the state. So definitely there's a lot of good work being done at the state level to promote bills that address pedestrian safety as well as active transportation. Because there's no organization like the San Francisco chapter of Families for Safe Streets, I'm an active member of that organization based in San Francisco, and we work in partnership with Walk San Francisco. And most recently, we were involved in the Zero Traffic Deaths campaign in partnership with the National Safety Council. We also wrote co-op educational pieces focused on pedestrian safety. And I specifically wrote an article of how I became an advocate after the loss of my son, Paul Martinez. And in the article, I talk about that. One of the things that I've come to learn and support is there is a strategy that works. There is a strategy that has been adopted throughout California by major California cities, from Oakland to San Francisco to Berkeley to Los Angeles, and that's Vision Zero. And I support Vision Zero as a parent because it is a plan to end traffic deaths. It is a plan that works, and it is a plan that I'm encouraging our city, the city of Fresno, and our city leaders to adopt this Vision Zero as a way to reduce injuries of pedestrians in our city, and also to end traffic deaths that are 100% preventable here in the city of Fresno. Annually, we have 25 pedestrians who lose their lives due to traffic crashes. Over the last 10 years, we've lost 235 pedestrians, and their lives have been lost, and families are left to grieve their memories. So I do want to say again, thank you, BPAC. Thank you to our community. I want to also thank those people who are watching that I've invited to be part of this presentation, who also do similar work that I do as well, Phil, or are interested in the work that's being done, not only in Fresno, but throughout the state. So again, thank you so much for this recognition. Thank you for the name of Paul Anthony Martinez as the name of the award. Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, and thank you for letting us name the award after him as well. We
Oh,
really
it's my honor.
appreciate it. And again, going forward, we hope that those that do receive it, you feel that they are walking in your footsteps, so to speak, no pun intended, in the kind of work that they're doing to prevent the loss of life and really advocate for safer safer streets in and around the city of Fresno. So at this time, any members, any staff, please feel free to unmute yourself, and if you want to say anything to Joe, feel free, please. We'll give you a couple minutes.
Joe, thank you, and we miss you, and I hope we get to work with you again soon, though, being on the CalBox board. I know we've got maybe some projects, in the pipe coming down, so congratulations, and thank you again for all of your hard work and advocacy in our community.
Yes, Joe, thank you for all your hard work. We do appreciate it. We're sad to see you're trying to leave the city of Fresno and move on to San Francisco, but we wish you the best of luck in all the endeavors, and know that you will do just as great a work in the city of San Francisco as you have done in the city of Fresno.
Joe, thank you for all you do. Appreciate your help and your efforts and your advocacy.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for everything you've done, and I hope we can, thanks to your efforts and at the state level and more, that we will get a Vision Zero program here someday in Fresno. Thank you.
Again, very well deserved. I'm sorry you had to go through what you had to go through to get into this work, but obviously it's the best thing going forward to prevent loss of life further. And I look forward to seeing you again in person someday soon. Again in person. I saw you a couple days ago, but I look forward to seeing you again. And we look forward to the work that hopefully you can help us out with here in this Vision Zero plan. So other than that, we're going to take it on to the next phase here with our member reports. But I appreciate Nick and Joe for stopping on by and letting me come by and hand them their awards there at their houses. So I really appreciate it. We're going to go on to the member reports and everything, but I wanted to just point out, because I'm sure we all know here, that we have a new member, Destiny Rodriguez. She is the new member for District 3, Miguel Arias. She got appointed a couple weeks ago. And I just wanted to have maybe a couple minutes here, maybe a minute or two, Destiny, to just introduce yourself to the rest of the members, what you do, and what you look forward to doing in the future with BPAC. So welcome, congratulations to Destiny Rodriguez.
Thank you, Phil. Hi, everybody. I'm Destiny. Very happy to join you all. Very excited. This is my first meeting with BPAC. Just a little background on me. I've worked in the nonprofit world for over 15 years within the Central Valley in various environmental and public health related nonprofits. I have a passion for my community, and I also sit on the Measure C Advisory, Citizens Advisory Committee, as well as many other things that I do. I'm very involved in community. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to take up a bunch of time saying things that I do, but I'm also Earth Day Fresno Planning member, co-chair for Environmental Justice Committee within Sierra Club To Adjourn chapter, and a Central Valley Young Environmental Advocates planning member. But just very happy to be here and excited to see what I can bring to this group. Thank you.
Well, thank you for, on your first meeting, taking notes. And it's not easy, but your first meeting, you're taking notes. Maybe it'll drive you into the secretary position next year when we have elections. Maybe Susan will be ready to give that up, and we'll get somebody in that seat. So thank you. Matthew, you wanna do anything right now? You have anything to report?
So main thing I wanted to just try to report on is that I want to try to get the Vision Zero task force up and running. It's been, I mean, I've kind of like made that kind of my thing for past few months, I've been getting towards the end finals with school, so there wasn't exactly the time to like run it.
Sure.
But I want to try to bring that forward to members now, like create the opening for people to join in.
Yeah.
The plan for this is to come up with a set of recommendations for the city of Fresno when the city does eventually want to try to pursue a Vision Zero program. And preferably, these would be recommendations that would be on like the second semi-annual report that BPAC does, which, I mean, I believe that's later this year, pretty much, right?
Yeah, that'll be later, yeah.
Yes. And different people who join, they can research different topics. We'd be looking deeper into like the SSRAP document that Public Works put out last year. We'd be looking a bit deeper into like the safe systems approach, and as well as like things that members here have also expressed concerns about. I know that Melanie, she's expressed concerns that like different Vision Zero programs, depending on implementation, they can disproportionately like lead to more police enforcement if like things aren't done properly. And that is something I definitely want to avoid doing. Either way, if anyone wants to join the task force, you can please let me know here, or just take a few days and
Do you want to start it now? Because remember, with our task force, we just want to make sure they're not indefinite. You know, we want to have like a certain time frame. So you want to start it now, or do you want to wait next month, or whatever? Okay.
Start it now. Yes.
No, that's great. And I know, you know, it's funny because I talked to Joe yesterday, and I know he's super open to having a presentation by a certain group. I don't think it's CalWalks. I think it was something else. So I think that would be something that you could work with him on and bringing that presentation here. But I think it's obviously, now that we're through this, hopefully ATP coordinator, trying to get that pushed through, you know, we can start working obviously bigger things and for this next go around to start recommending. We all know that the council members, a lot of them are interested in this happening. They need a push from us. They need some help. And all we can do is just say, hey, here's what we want. Here's what we're looking for. Now it's up to you to take it across the finish line. So,
right. Definitely.
Yeah. So obviously if anyone wants to join, let's create a task force, our Vision Zero task force. Who would like to be on that with Matthew? I guess Matthew's on it right now. So who else has got to be there? We can't have more than 2 or 3. Was it 3 members? 3 or 4 members, right, Jill? Something like that. We can't have a quorum, basically.
Can't be a quorum.
We can't have more than a quorum. So anyone else like to be a part of Matthew's Vision Zero task force at this time? And it also could include members of the public.
I would like to. That sounds like something I would definitely want to get behind. So I'm happy to help Matthew.
Thank you.
Matthew and Destiny. Anyone and the task force is fine. There could be 2 of you. That's totally okay. And as we go, if anybody wants to join as well, from the audio from the public or the members, they can do that as well.
I need a little bit more information about what Vision Zero is exactly before I jump in on that.
Okay. And you guys can talk that offline if you want a little bit more research on that before joining.
And I'll join with you guys.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, cool.
Staff member. Great.
Nice.
So we got 3. Anyone else? Going once, going twice, sold. Okay. So we got 3, which is great. It's perfect. It's a good way to start. I guess it'll go up until about you said your goal was to get something on that second semi-annual report, right, Matthew?
Right. Yeah.
Like the next 5-6 months. So that's good.
Yes. I mean, hopefully it doesn't take like that too long to come up with recommendations. But again, that is our deadline. I'm kind of setting at the beginning.
Wonderful. Looking forward to it. And we'll go from there. I think it's a good start. It'll be a long process, but we got to get something going. So that's wonderful. Definitely. So everyone got my email regarding this roster update memo. I just wanted to put this out here. Everyone had a chance to take a look at it and the wording and all that stuff.
Phil, do you have time for more member reports?
Sure. We can go through more. Yeah. Before I get to the other ones, absolutely. Does anyone else besides Matthew have a member report before I get into the other two? Laura, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to invite you all for June 5th. It's a Saturday for a TCC activity that we are hosting in Southwest Fresno. First of all, starting at 9 o'clock, we're going to give out helmets that BPAC has sponsored at the library in Southwest Fresno on California. So I was wondering if any of you would be able to volunteer for that. And then at 10 o'clock, we're going to start a ride throughout Southwest Fresno along different bicycle facilities, both existing and future ones, going by a lot of schools in the area. I'll put the link in the chat. And yeah, if anybody is available to help out at the event, please let me know.
I'll be there.
Laura, I have to double check my schedule, but I think I might be able to do that.
Okay, perfect. And that was Matthew and maybe
Steve.
Cool.
Is that it, Laura?
Yes.
Okay. But Steven, you had one, right, as well?
I just wanted to just throw a quick thing out. I went and met with a constituent earlier this week about some sidewalk problems and stuff, and walked the area with them. And so I'm kind of working on that right now to figure out, and sent some information to Jill to try to find out some information about the area. I think I also CC'd you in it, Phil.
Yes.
Just letting you know, I've been out meeting with some constituents over some sidewalk problems and stuff, and I had a very good meeting with them, so it went well.
Thank you so much. Super important for sure. Anyone else before I get to these two things?
I wanted to see if anyone had an update on the CMAC PSA. I haven't had a chance to follow up with Kyle. I know there was filming that was done, and that's excellent. And I saw the pictures. It looked like it went really well, but I haven't heard back about a finished product because we had wanted to run those during May, which is now over. So I don't know if we were close to having one done, if anyone's heard from them. Doesn't sound like it. Okay. I'll follow up with them. To see if we can get
maybe Susan would know. Maybe Susan would know.
Okay, sounds good. I thought I'd ask the group just to make sure. Thank you.
Anyone else? So the next thing on there for the member reports are two things that I wanted to, I think I brought up maybe last time, I'm not sure if I did. But the first thing here on our agenda is the roster update memo. As you see there, I think everyone got it. I know I emailed it to you all late because I didn't get it to Jill in time to put it in the thing. I don't know if I CC you, Jill, on it, so I don't think you have it. I don't know. Did I?
Yeah, I haven't, and I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to figure
out.
So,
this was brought to our attention a couple of months ago when we were speaking with some different council members, some of the staff. And so, we thought about, we need to be throwing out a roster of our updated members because I think there's a little bit of confusion on who's actually a part of BPAC and who's actually not. And when they're getting different, avenues of communication from different people in the community who have worked on BPAC before, but maybe aren't involved with BPAC anymore. So this was an idea. I was like, you know what, let's just give this out to the offices so that there's no mistake and there's no gray area on who belongs to BPAC and who doesn't. And when those who are not part of BPAC are speaking to certain offices, they're not talking as a BPAC member or how we, the views of BPAC. And you'll see at the very end of it, that's what I put, because there was some, because look, our council members, there's a lot to do. They got a lot of here and there and here and there. And they hear from a lot of other people who have been on this committee before. And so when they do go and they're trying to get BPAC's information or trying to get something from BPAC or approval, they'll end up going to the wrong person. They don't actually end up going to anybody who's still on BPAC. So we figured let's put this out, and I figured this was a good time too, because Destiny was just added to the roster on the 14th, and just say, hey office staff, here's who you should be going to on BPAC for any questions or comments you have regarding certain issues in the city of Fresno. And if you are getting anything other kind of communication outside this group, please, it does not represent the views of BPAC, because I think that's what there was a little bit of overlap there. There was a little bit of confusion when I was talking to some of these council members and their office. They were like, oh, we would hear from so-and-so and we would think it would be coming from BPAC. Well, no, right? If you're gonna talk to these council members, and as some of you do work with third-party organizations, just let them know which hats you're wearing. Are you wearing the BPAC hat? Are you wearing your other organization hat? Are you coming in as a BPAC member as well? So I thought this would be great. I put this together. I didn't add anyone's phone number. I didn't know if that was something that you guys wanted me to do. I did put everybody's email, but I can add everybody's phone number if that's okay with you. But I did want to vote to make sure that we are all in agreement to do this, and then we'll have either myself or we can have Susan, our secretary, send this out to the staff for the mayor all the way down to District 7, so everybody understands where it is, and also to kick some people in the butt to fill their vacancies as well. You don't want to be the only member with a vacancy, and right now we have one. So are there any questions about this? Are there any do you want me to add telephone numbers? Do you not want me to add telephone numbers? Do you want to do it a different way and send it to them? We do it on the semi-annual report as well, but I figured every now and again it couldn't hurt.
I'm okay adding numbers, Phil.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with having my phone number. It's the same as
Okay,
my
so-
business number, so it's out in the public anyways.
Okay, and if you guys have my number, text me your number so I know it, or just email me your number so we can put it in there before we the number that you want on there.
I'll say that maybe if other members are okay with having their numbers there, that's fine, but maybe not mine as much. I don't know.
Well, look, I'll leave it up to you. I'll leave it up to each member. So we have Melanie is okay with it. I'm okay with it. We're gonna say Steven's okay with it. Matthew, you're gonna say no, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we're gonna say that's a no for Matthew. Destiny?
I'm going to say no, not right now, but I
Okay.
do know most of the council members and they have my phone number, so.
Okay. Laura,
I'm fine with it.
with the number?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna add that. Lucio's not here, so I'm not gonna include that one. And Susan's not here, and I'm not gonna include hers either, just because she's not on there. So any other questions or comments about the letter, about how it's written? Is it okay? It's good to go? So in order to just move forward with this, and we'll send it out as soon as we can to the council members, I'm going to need a motion to approve the roster update memo of BPAC with the changes of adding the telephone numbers of Laura Gramis, Stephen Bradley, Melanie Ruvalcaba, and Phil Arbaio. I need that motion.
Motion to accept the member roster memo with the changes, adding phone numbers for those members that would like it added.
That's good, Steve. That's a good one. We'll accept that one. Okay,
I'll
that's the
second
motion.
that one.
Who seconded it?
I think Melanie.
All right, Melanie's gonna second. Let's do. Well, actually, who's not in favor of this? Okay, so we're gonna say it passes. Thank you so much. And I'll make those changes, and I'll probably have to do it because I think Susan is going to be out for a little bit. So I'll go ahead and send that. So that's good to know. So we've got that one done. The next one is going to be the ATP coordinator support letter. So I don't know if everybody's had a chance to read this, but as you know, we've asked from the very beginning of the year, especially with the new mayor and the new council member, to fund, to hire, to add this full-time position in the city's budget this coming year. And I know we've met, Melanie and I have met with both the council member Maxwell and the mayor. We met with the subcommittee. Everyone seems to be on board with it. So they're coming up with their budget right now. I just wanted to do this one last, just kind of, here you go. We're doing it again. We're telling you, we'd like to see this position filled, funded, all of the above, as soon as possible. So here's a letter that I put together. Any comments, any questions about how that's going?
I just want to add that the mayor did release the budget today. It is on the website, and the ATP coordinator is included.
So perfect. It's even better. We might as well send it to him anyway. I saw that he was going to. I saw that he was going to release it today, but I didn't know if it was going to be on there. But I mean, it just shows how passionate we are about this. Even if we send it, like, hey, like, if you're going to cut
reinforcement.
If you're going to cut anything, don't cut this position out of the budget. Anything else? Any other questions? Okay, then we'll just take a vote to send this letter of support to the mayor and the council members, our ATP coordinator support letter, our letter of support. I need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion.
Destiny's going to make the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Matthew. Anyone not in favor of sending this to the mayor and the council members? Wonderful. It passes. Great. Those are two great things. We're going to move on, if we don't have any other member reports, to our task force reports. Now, I know Susan was the head of the semi-annual report, right? Is that correct? And I don't know who else was on that, but anyone have any report on that one? I think Jill is too, right? Aren't you?
Yeah, so she did send me a draft report a week or two ago. So I've been working on trying to get the staff report pulled together so I can submit that to the attorney's office. That's kind of the critical path, the staff or the attachment that we attach to the staff report. We can still work on that.
Okay. Any other updates? All right. Can we? Well, unless. Hey, Laura, let's skip the budget one just for a second, because I'm trying to get my notes for that. My wife's taking a picture of the page, and sending it over to me. Because I don't have my notebook here. I left it at home. What about the PSA task force update? I know Melanie had mentioned it, but I think wasn't Susan involved in that as well? And weren't you a part of that, Matthew? Like, as far you did the filming though, right?
I did the filming. I mean, but no, I mean, officially as part of the task force, I mean.
You're not a part of it?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I'm seeing Tony here in the audience. I mean, I thought he was a part of that, but.
Oh, is he? I don't know. Is he? Tony, are you? I can't remember who was all part of it. Do you want to raise your hand, or can we unmute Tony Molina? Because I wasn't sure if he was or not. Tony, can you unmute yourself? I don't know if he's listening. I don't know if he's there.
There we go. Okay, thank you. Is it unmuted there?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Tony.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you. I just appreciate the opportunity to also say that the CMAC PSA is in progress. We shot the sequences for the Sharrows on around various locations in downtown, and also have got some footage for the upcoming cycle track, which hopefully will be to follow there. So so it should be actually in process right now. So we should be able to hopefully see something before the end of June, hopefully next time. So we've been working with CMAC, and they've been very helpful, very cooperative. So I think it'll be really good, and I think you'll enjoy seeing it when it's available. So I also want to take this opportunity, since I'm unmuted, just to congratulate also Nick Palladino and Joe Martinez for their awards, and also to welcome Destiny Rodriguez to the BPAC there. So thanks for letting me slip in a few extra words there. So any other questions about the CMAC PSA before you?
When did you say, I'm sorry, when did you say it was going to be done?
I am not quite sure, but I expect that it should be available for viewing in June before by the next BPAC meeting. So I think they're pretty efficient. So I would expect it to be available by then.
Can we keep Tony unmuted for this next one, for the budget one? Because that kind of we need to ask him something else. Go ahead, Joe.
Just a reminder, I'm going to need those invoices in the next week or two.
Okay,
that's what I was
all
going to
right.
ask too. If they had submitted an invoice, do you know if they submitted an invoice, Tony?
I don't believe so. I think they were planning to submit it. You know, they were aware of the deadline, but I think they were going to try to submit the invoice in advance so that it would be, you know, in time for but I can remind them. So
I'll follow up too, Jill, with them to see where that's at.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, now I have my notes, so we'll go to the budget task force meeting that Laura and I had a couple of weeks, or last week, right, Laura? You and I had it, and I know that you know, we don't know how much we're going to get allocated every year, but I kind of guesstimated $20,000 every year. Jill, is that correct? Like, we just kind of ballparked it.
Yeah, it's a percent of some fund somewhere, and it's usually right around $19,000-$20,000.
Okay, perfect. Because that's basically what Laura and I kind of came up with on this budget for the next fiscal year. So let's go over just kind of like what that came up with. And this is why I wanted Tony on, because I guess we did about $5,200 of PSAs. So if we want to up that in this next fiscal year, Tony, maybe they want to do more than, because they're doing 2 right now, right? I think we could probably up it to, like, if it's going to be about that much, we could probably do as much as 4 if we wanted, if they can do it. So maybe, is it possible for you to ask them that we're working on the budget already and we'd like to get a quote for like 4 different ones? Because what were the ones that we were thinking of, Laura? Like the new
Hawk was going to be the next project there.
We did the Sharrows and the Hawks for this year, and we talked about doing the cycle track for another one next year.
Correct. So this is what we had. We had the scramble at FSU, at Fresno State. We had the 3-foot rule, right, Laura? We had, okay, so there's a new rule in California, and I don't know when this takes place, but about not stopping at the stop signs. Bicyclists do not have to stop at stop signs. So we were thinking of that one as well, and we were thinking of the cycle track. So those would be 4 PSAs that they could do. They would just have to let us know how much that would cost, Tony, so we can ask for those funds ahead of time. If they can give us some, with the invoice, maybe they can give us an estimate of, or a quote of what those would cost. because that would be about, I'm guessing if we did 4, it would be just over like 11,000, maybe about 12,000.
Can I make a request that we, before we ask for a quote, that we
Okay.
just wait to see what they look like first? Because, you know, I'm sure they did a fine job, but just want to see the finished product before we commit to any one vendor at this point.
Yeah, and Tony,
I've got my county hat on right now. So
can we see like a draft of it, or like can we see it before they air it?
Well, and they're not going to air it. They were going to just make it, and then we were going to take that film, and then we were going to be responsible for placing the actual ads. So they weren't going to air it. I think they might put it on their website or their YouTube channel, but they weren't going to actually do the placements of the ads. That was going to be up to us. We just hired them to create the ads, and then we would do the placement. And we can do, earned media, free media with that. I think we could,
we could
do that.
We could do on whatever pages we have too as well.
But I think Tony's right. I think they're close to being done. Once you do the filming, it's just a matter of editing. And so I could imagine that they shouldn't take too much longer on it. But I'd like to see it before we ask for a commitment for 4 more PSAs.
And the only reason, and that's why I'm asking Tony if they could give it to us before they give it to us. I don't know if that makes any sense, but only reason is because we want to make sure that we ask for this money by July 1st. We need to ask for this money by the end of this month or next month. So if there's a way that we can see it before and we're okay with it, at the next meeting, we can approve the projects that we're gonna send to Jill in Public Works and say, here's what we want money for. Now it's gonna be up to them whether they give us the money or not for it, but at least we vote on it and we ask for it. Right, that's the deal. So if they can give us, if we like what we see, and if they can give us a quote before our next meeting in June, that we would know how much money we would be playing with. So in theory, let's just say in theory, what Laura and I came up with was about 11 grand for the PSAs that we did 4. We're going to ask for $200 for the plaques for next year's awards. Now, that's going to be up to Department of Public Works whether they want to give it to us or not. It doesn't hurt to ask. Laura said that we did about 2,000 in helmets and lights this year. So that's another 4,000. And here's
Phil?
one other, is that correct?
Yeah. One more thing I want to make does that include children's helmets? Because last time we had it out, that was a problem. We didn't have any child helmets.
Do we have any?
Yeah, this time we would need to get some children's helmets. There was a big need for that.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Phil, last year
I just wanted to throw it out there while I remembered so we can think about it. Please continue.
Just for the record, last year we had about 4,000 for helmets. So for this year, we would only ask for 2,000 for helmet, but increase the amount for lights because we were running out of lights.
So that's another 4K for that, helmets and lights. And then we have another, and then we were going to ask for 200 for the plaques, for the awards next year. And then what Laura and I came up with, and obviously this is something that we'd have to go through, but we would like to be more active in the sponsorship area. So we would like to have money to give out money to different groups and events for their safety events. We're not, as a committee, we don't have the time a lot of the time to do these events that some of these clubs do or some of these organizations do. But what we would like to do is say, here's $1,000 to help you out with your event. It's sponsored by BPAC. So we're going to ask for $5,000 in sponsorship money. So if you add all those up, I think you get close to, what do you get like? That's you get like 20. You get close to $20,000, and that's what we came up with. Now, the reason we're having this discussion is because that's what we came up with. We did ask for your events, your projects that you wanted money for. We do have one more meeting before we have to ask for this money to approve the budget that we want to ask from the Department of Public Works. Any questions or comments on this?
Phil, I have a couple of comments. I think this looks good. I support what you guys have put together. In the case that some of it does not get approved, I have like a backup request. And I'm sorry I didn't get this into you. It kind of, I guess I've just been so busy, fell off my radar, but Tony brought to my attention that a pedestrian sting is in one of the police reports that recently came out as being something they wanted to do. And I don't know if you all recall, for those of you that have been around for a while, you know, I've been advocating for pedestrian stings for about, I don't know, 3 years. We haven't done one that I'm aware of anyway. Maybe if police staff is on tonight, they can confirm or deny that. We haven't done a good police pedestrian sting here in Fresno. And I think we can, if it's allowable, the money that we would need for that is basically the overtime for the police department to work that event. But I think it brings great awareness. It's a really good media draw. It doesn't involve any danger because the police all do the decoys, but we can be involved in ways, though. There's ways that we as BPAC members or volunteers from other pedestrian groups can be involved in that sting as well. And we don't necessarily need to cite people. It could just be a warning event to let people know, hey, you crossed that crosswalk while there was somebody in there. Did you know that? And did you know there's a fine and all of that? So if we could, you know, budget some money and maybe as a backup plan, if none of these things or if some of these things don't get approved, that we can try to set some money aside for a pedestrian sting, I'd appreciate that.
The thing to do is to over ask, because then you don't know what you're going to be given. So if we need to ask for close to 30,000, you know, maybe they say, okay, well, maybe you can't get this or this, but you'll have this. Well, then we have our 20,000. So it's all about it's just the ask, right? And that's all we're doing. Okay. And so if we get, we can ask. I mean, I guess Melanie, if you want to find out how much that would cost in the overtime.
Yeah, I think and that I would have to work with the police department on that. But if you'll recall, Chief Mayor Dyer was pretty interested in it. He said that they used to do those when he was there, and to talk to him, and that he can likely make that happen. So maybe we could even do it with no funding from BPAC. Maybe he can just convince the police department to do that. So let me try to reconnect with Mayor Dyer on that to see if he has any opinions on how to proceed, whether we should try to budget some money and how much that would be, or whether we can just ask the police department nicely to try and work on a pedestrian sting event this year that we can support with them.
Sure.
I want to add, you know, we'll take a look at the list once you submit it and make sure that everything is up to the requirements of the actual funding. I'm told we are potentially being audited this year on our funding. So, and we've kind of opined that some of the stuff isn't, you know, we have our opinion on what isn't eligible. I do know that staff salary is not an eligible expense for this funding. So if you're going to have the conversations with Mayor Dyer, I would steer them towards finding other funds for those stings.
Thanks for letting me know that. That saves me a lot of time.
Any other questions or comments about the events or the budget that we kind of came up with there? I mean, does it seem like, you know, does it seem okay? I mean, do you want to add anything?
I think you're on the right track pretty much with everything now.
I just wanted to throw out some things to think about. You know, we have Bike Month that would be included in this budget, and we also have a Pedestrian Safety Month now. October is Pedestrian Safety. Were there any?
What do you mean it's included in the budget? Like, what would we be able to do?
It'd be as part of this year. So did you want to do a safety event as part of? You know, we've always in the past done Bike Month, Safety Month.
Sure.
With these funds. And like I was saying, now October is Pedestrian Safety Awareness Month. So is that something you want to throw in there as far as ideas to do?
Does it have to be a specific event? Like we have to come up with the event, or do we have to like, I'm not sure what you're saying. Like there's money we can put towards the event or the month, but is it like a specific event in the month? Is that
It
what you're
could be.
saying?
I mean, I think we have talked in the past, having an event partnering with PD at some of the schools in October for, there's actual walk day. There's a walk to school day. So doing something at a school to raise awareness for walking safety for school kids. You know, you could do the same thing at a school in May. You know, a bike rodeo or something that teaches bike safety to students. So I'm just throwing that out there as some other possible uses that would be eligible, I think, for that fund.
Sure. And one of the things that I think Laura and I talked about was when it comes to a rodeo or actually throwing an event, it's hard for BPAC to do it because there's only so many members and we only have so much time. It's not a full-time job, right? For us, it's not like we can take a lot of time out of our day, which is why we would like to ask for sponsorship money. Because if there's an organization and that obviously that's dedicated to doing certain things like that, you know, we can volunteer and we can help. I didn't, and I'll make sure to disclose this right now to the group. I should have done it in my member report, but we can help volunteer if we have the time. We can be there to take a picture if we want, especially if we're going to sponsor. But to actually like organize an event, we just can't do it. We don't have the resources or the time. So that's why I thought about the sponsorship, but which is great because if it's May and October or Bike and Pedestrian Month, maybe we don't have to do an event ourselves, but we can still like help out another organization toward making their event bigger or better. Because again, it's just, that's one of the reasons we just wanted the sponsorship money, because it was like, we just can't do it, but we want to help them out, make their event better. So if somebody said, and it would allow other organizations to come to our meetings and ask for that, like, hey, we're going to have this event. It has to do with bicycle or pedestrian safety. You know, we would really like to have your sponsorship event at like a bronze level, silver level, $500, $1,000. And we say, we can vote on as a committee and say, great, here, you know, here's your money. Go ahead, Laura.
Yeah, I was curious, Jill, how you would include this in the budget as request. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, do we have like, is there a certain amount of money already allocated towards it, or is it like added to it? Like if we got to the 20, well, they say, oh, well, you still have like $5,000 to like, so it's just already in there. You'd have to use it for those 2 months.
So
you could use it for those 2 months.
In the budget, there'll be a line item that'll be LTF Article 3 funds, and there'll be a dollar amount. There'll be $19,378.22. It's a percentage
Sure. Okay.
of some. It's a percentage of some fund that we are getting, that we allocate towards safety aspects, so for pedestrians and bicyclists. And so this budgeting process isn't going to be super formal. It's not going to be adopted as part of the city budget.
Of course.
It's just to help us plan, because we're again, very, very last minute. We're spending the money, any money for this year. It's hard for us and hard for staff to, you know, get all of our funds in order.
Yeah, and that's what that's why we're doing this process to avoid that happening. We want to give you guys the money or give you guys the ask for the money, so that when the time comes for that to happen, you already know that money is already. They already know. So what are these going to?
This will be
Tony, mute yourself, Tony.
Hi. Yeah,
Tony,
Phil.
Mute. Hold on, Tony, mute. There you go. So, yeah, this is just like a placeholder, right? I mean, that's all we can do, because we can't, like you said, it's not like going to be there. It's just, what can we use in that money, that chunk of money that we have? So,
Could I just make a comment, Phil, on the Jill mentioned about not using the LTF funds for salaries, but I believe the language in the LTF is that it cannot pay the salary of any one person. So I'm not sure that would necessarily preclude paying for the police force for the sting operation. So you may want to kind of research that with with city staff to see if that's still a possibility, but I believe the language should be looked at about that. So.
Yeah, we are going to look at it. Like I said, I believe we are being audited. So no more.
So look, we have another month before we vote on any type of budget that we're going to ask for, so that, you know, when the time comes, we've already asked for the money and hopefully it'll be there. We already, you know, they'll already know in this fiscal year, BPAC is wanting this money. So let's not spend it on anything else because BPAC already has plans for it. So we have another month. Laura and I will probably have another meeting. I think Stephen tried to go to the last one, couldn't make it. I'll send out another invitation. Anyone else, if you have any questions, comments, projects, events that you would like to get money for, let us know before our next meeting, before we try to decide on this money. Anything else, Laura, on the funds or the money?
Not for now, no.
All right. Well, then we know, and I'll remind everyone when we're all going to meet again, so that if you need a reminder on getting your projects, you'll send them in. I'll email everyone. Okay. Let's go to Officer Belli. Is he on the phone? He is.
Okay,
Yes.
can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I had to do that *6 to unmute. Ever since the last meeting, we've had 2 fatalities in the city of Fresno regarding pedestrians. No cyclists. The one in May, the first one we had in May was May 15th. It was a Saturday at approximately 11:35 p.m. during darkness at the Fruit and Cortland location. The pedestrian was crossing from the southwest corner towards the southeast corner in an unmarked crosswalk. So this intersects a small residential roadway. The pedestrian was observed. There was some video obtained by detectives running suddenly in front of a vehicle that was approaching, and the impact occurred in the northbound traffic lane. It appeared initially, after reviewing the video, that it was possible the pedestrian couldn't time the vehicle speed and started running. It's pretty apparent during the investigation that they found the vehicle was traveling at an unsafe speed. So it looks like the primary collision factor is going to be on the vehicle for unsafe speed, and the pedestrian will have an associated involving this with being in the roadway and suddenly running into traffic wearing dark clothing. There was evidence at the scene that suggested that there was some alcohol use on the part of the pedestrian. I know some lighting issues came up at the last meeting, so I was able to review some of the photographs the detective provided, and it did show some pretty good street lighting right at that intersection. There was one large street light, LED, that lit the location up pretty well. The second fatality occurred on Thursday. It was May 20th, and it happened at approximately 9:10 p.m. So again, it's during darkness, and there was a pedestrian that entered the westbound lanes of Jensen Avenue, just west of Maple Avenue, and it was struck by an unknown vehicle. This turned out to be a felony hit and run. The pedestrian was lying in the roadway, and a second vehicle came along and also struck the pedestrian as they were lying down in the road. The pedestrian was crossing mid-block, so outside of a marked crosswalk or unmarked crosswalk in a darker area, because it's not very well lit in this location mid-block. So the primary collision factor did fall on the pedestrian, most likely. Of course, these investigations aren't completed yet, but it's looking at the pedestrian will be the primary collision factor, with being outside a marked crosswalk in the roadway. Again, crossing in a dark location, wearing dark clothing. Nothing at the scene immediately shows any type of drug or alcohol use, but the intoxication results are pending. This location, very little lighting again. And we had 2 total during that time period.
Thank you, Officer Belli, for the update. Any questions for Officer Belli on the numbers or the incidents?
If there are no questions, just going back to what Jill mentioned with the Pedestrian Safety Month, I was involved with the last 2 that we did at Oraz Elementary School. So if you need any help with that, I work with Christina Pasma at Valley Children's Hospital, and we put that event on. We had several hundred students and parents and staff involved in that. The trick to it was really finding a good location, a school that was safe, that we could map out and safely get the students from one location and onto campus.
Thank you, Officer. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time. We'll head over to, sorry, what was that? We'll head to the rest for Jill, her work plan, and then Scott, and then she has her semi-annual report, but I think we kind of went over that already. Go ahead, Jill.
Well, I want to, if I can, just skip real quick and show you guys how to get to the agenda, since it is new. Just real quick tutorial on that, if you'd like that.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, what's happening here? And then I couldn't find any of the links. That's why I don't have any of the, I had nothing. I had no links.
So this is the City of Fresno webpage. I just go under government, agendas and minutes, and it will take you right here. So here's our meeting right here, popped right up. If you want, if it's something's not showing, I don't know that this part works yet for all the archive stuff, but it will be updated soon. But if you want to put in a, you know, somewhere that's not in here that you don't see, let's just do the Disability Advisory Committee. So they don't have anything right now in the system. So you can pick on whatever board or commission you want. So, and we're not a commission, we're a committee. So I need to have them change that. But you just click over here. There's a HTML agenda, or there's a PDF. We'll do the HTML first so you can see what that looks like. This is tonight's agenda. If you come down here, you see these are boxes. So for the minutes, if I click on the box for the minutes, it pops down the box. And if there's attachments, you can see the attachments. It downloads at the bottom for you, and you can open it up. So there's the minutes.
Sound great.
And then I don't know how to get back here, or I could have, and I hope you're seeing it. I don't know what this shows as I'm changing screens, but you can check on the PDF form also, and it just downloads it at the bottom again.
Yeah, I saw that, but when you download the PDF form, can you still get the links if you click on it? Because I think that's what I did, and I don't know, I didn't see any, I wasn't able, it did like click on it, so you can't do it.
Yep, there must not be links on
you gotta go to the HTML.
HTML form, and then just kind of hover over.
Yeah,
the item.
I know from the last one you had the PDF, you were able to click on the links, but not this time. Okay.
Quick follow-up, Jill. I was curious because this week it seemed like the agenda was only available like maybe 2 or 3 days before like the meeting, whereas before it was always like the Friday before. Is that just because of the changeover, I assume, or?
Yeah, so we have to, I think it's 48 hours in advance of the meeting, I think is the posting time. So we usually post it Friday before I leave on Friday. So, but there was a glitch this week. So it didn't get posted till Monday morning, I think, or it didn't show up till Monday morning on the public side. So we worked with that. Again, I think it was Nick that told me that it wasn't up. So we worked with the clerk's office to get that fixed in to the public. So, but no, the plan is still to have it done by Friday.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you for the tutorial, Joe.
Okay, so I figured out what my problem was. I'm just using the link to the old page instead of going through the website. So now I know I just need to do that. Thank you.
And there's still glitches. The city clerk's office is working through things. We're being trained on how to use this. So bear with us for a little bit.
Thank you. The work plan's on there too. I didn't see the work plan this time because I didn't click on it. Didn't click on the link on the HTML.
Not much has changed with the work plan. Again, as always, if you want to see specific projects or you want to talk about specific projects, let me know, and I will do my best to get a project manager for that specific project to give you details. Yeah, so that's it for that one. And then the annual report, I kind of touched on that earlier, working with Susan on trying to pull that together and get it ready for council.
Thank you so much. And then we did add Scott on this because we had talked about in our agenda meeting some type of Department of Public Work orientation / workshop with some of the members from the committee, and Scott can talk more about it because he had the idea and why he would like to do this. So go ahead, Scott. It's all yours.
So I'll start while he's getting himself off of mute. We'd been talking, Scott came up with the idea of possibly having kind of mini meetings with the BPAC members just to kind of talk through our processes on how we, it could be everything from grant ideas, grant processes, how we go through the grants, how we design projects, what that entails as far as on the staff side, project selections, anything you wanted to know about projects, just kind of talk about how public works works.
There you go.
I guess I would build on that. It seems like in the last couple of years, there's been maybe a misunderstanding about how staff works on these projects, and that it's this kind of shadowy closed room process. And, some BPAC members have felt like, I think maybe they haven't had enough input, enough say, enough oversight and review. And I think it would be beneficial if BPAC members understood the constraints we work under, the timelines we work under, what the grants require, what makes a grant, a project, a competitive project, and what kinds of amenities we can and can't add based on the grants, funding source. So there's just a lot of things I think that would help you all understand your place in the work we do and help you maybe better fit yourselves into our projects instead of, I don't know, and I'm not a BPAC, representative, so I don't know how you think on the outside, but to me it would seem like maybe you feel like you're an entity and you're, trying to interface with public works and you don't really know how what we're doing when we're doing it. But I think that we could probably work together to make it a lot more transparent and a lot more, just open communication, I guess, between public works and you all to help you understand what we do.
And I wanted to thank Scott for, opening up his time to do this as well. He's going to take time out of his day to kind of just teach us how it all functions so we don't get frustrated on why things aren't moving the way they need to be. We would like them to move. Obviously, this would just be kind of like, I was equating it to how we do every year at the beginning of the year, the Brown Act kind of refresher, like how we're supposed to do our meetings and all that stuff. And this would be kind of that same thing. We get a new member, Scott will have a meeting with them about how Public Works works so that they understand, how that functions, because we still are, we're still a little arm of Public Works, and that most of the staff, are here as well to help us through our meetings. And then for us, this first time around would be for all members. All of us can meet with him. He's going to go ahead and I think email us all some times that he has available, and we can all meet with him. Obviously, we don't want to make sure there's more than a quorum there. So if there's 2 or 3 of us, I think that's fine. Just so that he just gives us a little tutorial orientation, and maybe just we can feel a lot better. Like, okay, like we understand what's going on. They're listening to us. It just takes a while. And whether it's a annual thing or a every other year thing, or whenever we get a new member on, that happens. I want to thanks kind of for that idea and for their time to do that. So I know Melanie was first, and then we'll ask. Then Laura will go next. Go ahead.
I was just going to point out that Nick had his hand up. I don't know if he's allowed.
Yeah. We'll go through the members first. Let's go through the members first. Laura, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I think that's a great idea, and thank you so much for your initiative to bring this up. I think this is probably going to help the committee and Public Works work better together. So thank you, guys.
Yeah, that's the point. Thank you, Laura, for sure. Anyone else any other members comments on this one?
Again, just to reiterate, this does sound fantastic, and it's something that should have been happening already, in my opinion. Just been kind of like, it's weird, again, looking outside in, kind of like wondering, how things are prioritized and stuff like that. And so, yeah, cool. Thank you, Scott.
And yeah, we have time. We can go to Nick. Nick, we'll give you a few minutes of your time. Go ahead. Nick Palladino.
Actually, Phil, I don't think you took public comment on the last few items, so I think we need to.
Yeah, well, whoever wants. So we still have a couple more minutes before we're going to close out here. So, Nick, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Nick. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree totally with the idea. Shelley, I guess must have been 2 or 3 years ago now, gave an excellent presentation. It must have ran at least 15, 20 minutes, the entire BPAC, in which she explained the process that the staff went through when they decided how to select projects to submit grant applications to various grants. One thing I learned in my 20 plus years of bicycle advocacy is that the transportation bureaucracy is very labyrinthine and byzantine, and it's a slow moving process. And one time I told people that by the time you come up with a good idea for a project, it could take 3 to 5 years before construction even begins, let alone being finished. And there's a lot of people competing to get projects involved, and there's a lot more people asking for projects than just the BPAC. So Shelby gave an excellent, at least 15, 20 minutes, and I would advocate for a first presentation already to be given to the full BPAC. I think it's probably worth the time, that much time bring everybody in, just so they're aware that all the various grants out there, they each have their own peculiarity criteria. So a project may be competitive for some grants, but not competitive for other grants. They have to bear in mind when you put a project, find a grant program that project might be most competitive for. And timing issues. And some of these grants, the applications are very demanding. Like the active transportation program, it takes many, many hours to put those applications together. I mean, of the show, we put together grant application and grant 50 to 60 pages. Other programs may not be quite that elaborate. So I think it's an excellent idea. And I think really it's worth the time, 15, 20 minutes of the full BPAC meeting. And, you get the presentation to, since most of the people who are around 2 or 3 years ago, they're now gone. And so the staff, everybody needs to see how intricately involved, just to go through the process of deciding which projects to make grants for which programs. Thank you much.
Thank you, Nick. The reason we're probably not going to do it during a meeting is because we really want to spend a little time on this. I think maybe Scott's thinking, a meeting with 2 or 3 of us, giving us maybe at least 30 minutes. And if he wants to go, if he can give more time, go a little bit longer than that. I just didn't want to take up, I don't want to take up too much time in a meeting. We always have a lot of stuff to do. And I think having that play of time more for Scott's part, whether it is 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or an hour, I think that would really, really help out. So more than what we can offer here at a 15, 20-minute meeting, which, would be really quick and stuff like that. So I appreciate it, Scott. And Scott, feel free to, I think he's going to at some point just pass around some times that you're available. And we can
it'll probably be starting towards the latter half of June,
okay.
Just based on our workload and our schedules right now. But I would like to get this, talk to everybody before the end of summer, for sure.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Scott. And before we end, I totally forgot to add this on my memo report. I did reach out. So some of you have seen the thing that Parks and Rec is doing this week or next weekend. They're doing a bike rodeo. I can't remember exactly where. I know we shared it on our Facebook page. But I reached out to Parks and Rec and I said, hey, this is like kind of up our alley. This is what we do and advocate for. In the future, we'd like to work with you more when it comes to stuff like this. And I thought this would one of those things in the future we could sponsor if they needed, a little more money or whoever organization to help make it better. And I said, so I'm gonna forward everyone the email that I sent out and that was returned to me. And then, because on there, he does have how we can get involved on the 29th, which is this Saturday. I don't remember if we have somebody else had something else going on the 29th. But I believe he also has some opportunities to volunteer this weekend at their bike rodeo. So if you want to do that as well, I'll go ahead and send that over. And everybody will be in on it. And then everybody can see how I reached out to Parks to see if we can collaborate a little bit more on the work that they do and the work that we do going forward. So that was it. I just wanted to make sure we got that on there. Before we ask for the motion to adjourn, any other questions, comments, or anyone else have anything else to say about what's coming up or have any announcements? Sounds good. Okay, well then we'll take a motion to adjourn. Anyone want to give that motion? I'm sure don't all raise your hand at once.
Motion to adjourn.
Stephen Bradley motions to adjourn. Who's going to second? Matthew, you going to second?
I'll second.
Okay. Who doesn't want to leave? I don't know why you wouldn't, but who doesn't? Okay. Anyhow, all right. Good meeting, guys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. And